Hello, I'm Don the Moto Giant. I'm currently riding around America on this here murder sickle. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. Mostly because I'm riding with one leg. I lost my leg last year in an accident. In this episode, we're going to talk about riding out of California. I've spent 5 weeks in California just tearing up the Sierras, as you can see. I only missed a couple of passes because they were closed at the time, or I just got too tired of riding all these magnificent roads. But this episode, I'm going to meet up with my buddy Matt and ride north into Oregon.
And 2 new rubber tires made from real rubber. See if they can get me down the hill safely. Farewell, my mountain friends. We'll see you again next year, hopefully. Barring disasters, floods, hurricanes, and wildfires. So we're headed north. Matt sent me a tip about a community called Forest Hill. One word. I think there's 3 Forest Hills in California. Or at least that's the one that I'm looking at. It's probably more. Forest Hill. It's a sexy sounding name for subdivision, don't you think? Anyway, he sent me a tip about a campground there. I'm gonna go check that out first. That's almost 3 hours away, which will give me a little bit of time to wake up, maybe. I need to stop in Angel's Camp. I think they got a farmer Tractor Supply there. Seems like I got a pretty good can of chain lube. The chain is probably the most needed maintenance item. I probably need to change my oil too, but I don't know, a lot of people change their oil every 2,500 miles. I've never done that. I think the minimum that I've ever changed was like 5,000. I usually run them to like 7 and 8. You know, check your oil, and if it doesn't feel slippery, then I change it. I mean, my oil gets black pretty fast, but yeah, that's what I pull the dipstick out and taste it. If it tastes like sulfur, no, I just grab the stick and feel if it's slippery. If it's close to as slippery as when I put it in, I'll keep running it. If it feels a little bit like oily water, if it feels like oil and vinegar, I'll go ahead and change it. I think that's what I'm going to say. So last trip down Big Hill Road coming up. Yeah, I'm just excited to be back on the road again. There's something about. I mean, I've been here. I have been located. I haven't been staying here all 5 weeks. I got here April 30th. April 30th. And it is June 6th now. But with that said, I went and did Sonora Pass. I did that big loop. I've done Sonora Pass twice. So I went up there and tried to do Tioga. Tioga was closed. So I hung out below Tioga Pass for a few days. But then I just did a big loop and came back up, and then I just went and did here, this people are so nice. What are you doing out here?
So like I said in the beginning, the plan was to meet my buddy Matt up here in the Tahoe National Forest, and he gave me some tips about where to find some camping, and I looked all around. Mainly I was looking for a view with some internet and some trees. Not real particular this time, but there was a little bit of weather, and I thought if I could get up high somewhere on top of a mountain peak with some trees and some internet, I could communicate with Matt, let him know where I was at. So I kept riding a lot. Kept going back and forth. Couldn't really find the exceptional spot. The exceptional spots that I found weren't perfect for trees or internet or views, but there was a lot of each. As you could see, a lot of the forest has been burned over the past few years. And when you first see burned areas like this, a lot of times what you'll see is just black ruin, and it's kind of shocking to see the first time you see it. But if you come to the realization that it's just part of nature, maybe a little bit worse in California since all the droughts are out here every year, but yeah, I've come to realize that it's part of nature, it's part of the regular cycle of things, and I've also come to appreciate the fact that you can see for miles, you can see the landscapes where normally you might not be able to even look out past the trees. As the trees are getting denser, you can't see anything around you. So the only way to rectify that is to clear cut all these trees so you can see the mountains all around you, or let the forest do its thing, the natural cycle of fire. But yeah, it's taken me a few years to come to the realization of how things change and how to appreciate the ugliness of nature. And this is still green. It just hasn't, the trees haven't bloomed back up. But yeah, they've been hit a couple of times pretty hard around this area. But yeah, it was a great ride. I found some pretty rugged dirt roads out here even, and explored a little bit of those. And then I've eventually found out I needed to get a little bit closer back to the town of Forest Hill before I turned around.
Well, it looks like I got signal on this side, but not a lot of choice in trees. But man, look at the view. Holy crap. Let's boogie on back down just a little bit further, see what it looks like. There's really no point in if I can't send out the signal where I'm at. I gotta go back in the town anyway, so I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I hang out with people, it would be no issue. You know, if it was just me, I could do one night without internet. It's no big deal. I mean, I prefer to have internet always, but I don't know why this is so hard. I know how to do this, but I immediately start wanting to drag my brakes with my foot, and there's nothing there. This is a little bit rough, and I'm loaded down. But it's just so freaking unnerving. And to me, this is stupid little, almost completely flat ground. But it's also one of the things that gets me, because I know how quickly things can go wrong when you lose traction or you lose your balance. And my balance, that may be the thing that's freaking me out the most. I'm not aware of my lack of balance is really, when I start going, it's usually too late. I mean, I know that's the case with most people, especially the heavier the bike that you have. When you start going, you're usually in bigger trouble. You know, the further over you go. But my reaction time sucks. My balance sucks. But it's not a bad spot. But how many people are going to come up here tonight? I want to park up here. Yeah, there's several trees that I can hang. Big fucking trees. I like the view. That's why I'm really scratching my head now, going, I don't really like this view. I'd really like to spend the rest of the night here. But I need internet. Well, I made it to camp in the Tahoe National Forest. It's right off the road, which normally I'm not a big fan of. Usually I save right off the road for I'm desperate and I gotta have a place to stay. But this is nice. It's a nice spot. It's accessible. It's closer to the stealth camping end of things because I don't know. There's a lot of private property around here too, so I'm not even sure if this is actual forest. But if somebody comes in here and runs me off, I'll know. But the sun was going down, and I've already been through a tour. I've already been to the end where the road splits off into two dirt roads, which was a great ride. There was a campground down there. It was free. Matt just sent me a text and said, Robinson Flat, it's got pumpable water, and it's a free campground. It's I don't want to say it's nice. I bet it was nice before everything burned around there, but there weren't a lot of trees, lots of picnic tables, vault toilet, bear boxes, which is probably good. And this is too close to the road for me normally. Normally I don't like this stuff, but there's nobody. I mean, there's probably a car every 30 minutes so far since I've been out here. And you can see down the road there's a trail bike crossing. There's a bunch of, I guess, single track from what I've seen. There's a bunch of single track out here. The only other motorcycles I've seen out here were dirt bikes. And I saw one ADV bike. I'm not sure what it was, but he was coming out, so I don't know where he was coming. I know Italian Bar Road or Trail is down the road here, so it's a good spot. I mean, you know, it's even if it was a stealth spot, it's kind of stealthy. I mean, you can't see much from the road. You got to be looking over here to see my bike. But yeah, home for the night. Matt will be here tomorrow sometime, and then we're gonna go ride somewhere. I think he's wanting to camp. I may be just confused, but yeah. I mean, this is the number one thing on my camping spot list. The number one thing is accessible and safe, and it's both. It's very accessible, easy for me to get in here. The pine straw is a little bit slippery with my little boot, but yeah, it's very accessible, it's safe, it's comfortable. There's mosquitoes in here, but nowhere near as bad as Brian's place, or at least not yet. Maybe they come out after dark, I don't know. But yeah, quiet, accessible, safe, convenience right there on the road. Matt can find me. I sent him a pin. Doesn't have a great view. Trees are blocking the view. The view is 120 yards away. If I could get in there, and I could if I wanted to go around that log or the trees or whatever, but I don't need a view that much. So
I'll sit here and chill and soak up some internet. That's the other thing. Yeah, I got a signal up here, so I got to soak up some internet and see what's going on in the world. Watch YouTube videos. I suggest you do the same. Well, I'm quite proud of my departure this morning. Less than 30 minutes, right at 30 minutes. Broke camp, had everything packed on the bike, and I am straddling here in just 1 second. Yeah, and I even took a shit. I think that was one of the 2 bites that I got from the mosquitoes this morning. Was on my ass. You know, that's what happens when you pull down your pants. The mosquitoes come and get you. You can see they're still around. The weird thing was, as soon as I got out of the hammock and threw my sleeping bag over here on top, the mosquitoes came over here after my bag. I don't know. Maybe I've got all my my love potion smeared into my sleeping bag. But yeah, the rest of the time I was undoing my gear and like, oh, there's only like 5 or 6 mosquitoes over here. This is great. First thing I did is I got out and came and got a sweater on, number 1, and then put my riding pants on, and that took care of most of the bites, I think. But then it was weird. I came back over here and all the mosquitoes are circling the bike. Specifically, it looked like they were circling this bag. But I'm not out of the woods yet. If I can get out of my camp spot here without dropping my bike, this will have been a success. And since I got rid of a bunch of the gear, I mailed home my foot, my winter riding pants, and some other assortment of stuff. I mailed it home. Whew. Much easier to pack up this bike now. Whew. Let's roll. After I warm up the bike. That is one grabby ass clutch. If you have a T7 and you don't have a grabby clutch, please let me know in the comments, because everybody I've talked to thinks the same thing. At least first thing in the morning. What? You might remember Matt from his ride with Brian and I and Dina through some pretty awesome roads. And at that time he was on his GS 800. This is his DR 650, and he rides the shit out of this thing too. And yeah, it was hard for me to stay with him. Mostly because I suck riding off-road nowadays, but also I can't really breathe in a lot of dust, so he just kind of hammered it, and I tried to keep him in sight.
We could take a left-hand turn after the gas station, and there's another road that brings us over to Quincy.
So Quincy is our destination?
Well, Quincy is like a high mountain town that starts getting us towards Lassen Park.
Okay, but you don't have a destination in mind.
No, I have no destination.
Vaguely, we're going up that way.
Yeah.
That sounds great, man.
Yeah.
I just didn't know, because it sounded like you had a very specific...
No. I'm just doing this out of my head. I got to hear in my head.
I haven't seen anything to complain about so far, so I think you're doing an outstanding job.
All right, well, let's have it. I'll do some electrolytes.
Brondo?
Yeah, sounds good.
This is my favorite kind of place to stop.
Oh, man.
Shade, a seat,
Right.
a place to interact with people that come and go and gather intelligence.
Yeah,
Because I'm a CIA agent. I don't know if I told you.
I told you about my KGB Russian friends.
You told me about your Russian friend.
Yeah, well, we figured he's key.
Well, why wouldn't he be if he's Russian?
Right, because he's here to infiltrate us to understand motorcycle culture.
To control America, he's got to understand motorcycle culture.
Right.
And of course, you can see I don't have much trouble riding on pavement. The twisties I still love. I'm probably not quite the same rider as I was last year, but maybe 90% as compared to maybe 50% in dirt. Yeah, just my physical disability is greatly diminished, in my braking and my reaction times and all that stuff, but I still feel really confident on the pavement, and I love doing the spirited twisties like we're doing here. And of course, Matt still gives me a little bit difficulty sometimes keeping up. Similar sized bike, but I think maybe maybe he has the advantage since he has both of his meat legs and most of his brain left, and I've got a lot less of both, but I still love this kind of riding and beautiful roads. And if you haven't heard my review of the roads in the Sierras, they're all just spectacular. I knew I'd heard lots of things about these roads, but yeah, I had to experience it for myself. Yeah, and coming up here shortly, you will see interaction with a very large vulture that I think was feeding close by, but as we came by, he took off and flew almost directly in the path of Matt right in front of me. I got a pretty good shot of it, but to me it looked like maybe he was even attacking, which, you know, if you think about the birds, he's probably not as agile to even consider for a second attacking a motorcycle, but it sure looked like an attack, and it was probably just the fact that he did not appreciate the speed that we were going, and he couldn't get out of the way fast enough, which made it look like big 6-foot wingspan bird is trying to attack my friend, which is, you know, sometimes you get stuff like this on video. Sometimes it's just, you just talk about it, you tell fish stories. But I happened to get a cut of the alleged bird attack here, right there. You just missed it, and I'll play it back here in a second. And apparently, from Matt's report, it was a near miss. It sure looked like he connected with him from behind, but I was, yeah, different perspective. I'm sure he would have felt it, because that was a really big bird. One question. Did that buzzard hit you?
It came damn close,
dude.
man.
He was on your back. I was like, if he didn't touch him,
I felt him.
You were within that.
I felt like the wing, like, pushing air at me.
I got it on video. It may be through a dirty windshield, but at least I got it. So
that was crazy.
Yeah, and then the deer.
I just thought we'd stop so you can get I get this road and what's called Bucks Lake Road. We normally stop at the top of Lake Bucks Lake Road.
Okay.
But this one I'm not so sure. But I don't know, good view.
It's a great view, man. I love seeing the shorter stature guys like this adapt to mounting, and it's always cool to see somebody with a little bit of motorcycle handling skills, and that's always been something that I've wanted to do, but my big lanky ass, hard to get my leg over standing still, so I'll just have to let the shorter guys demonstrate all their fantastic mounting and riding skills, and I just give everybody a nice view of the scenery around here. And pretty much everywhere we rode this day was just incredible. Beautiful roads, perfect pavement. Of course, you know, rock falls, there's rocks in the road sometimes, but there was very little traffic, and it was just an outstanding day. And here we are pulling in right above Lassen National Park, and a drive into the park itself to actually see if we can find some camping. And we found a pretty good spot. Matt was wanting to camp at a campground on a lake, and I don't know if he realized it was inside the park. And of course, none of the campgrounds were available, because this time of year apparently you have to reserve all the popular parks. But yeah, it didn't turn out exactly the way we had hoped. But this was not a bad campground, and we had a good time. Sat around, had a fire, had some dinner. Played a board game, believe it or not. Kind of unusual for me. I'm not much into board games, but yeah, it's a good spot. So you inadvertently bent your leg on your Amazon chair.
Yeah.
$30 Amazon chair, you bent it, so we flipped it around.
Yeah.
To get the one fitted in the chair, and now we're gonna try it out to see.
Am I going down?
Oh, look at that.
Woo, smooth living.
It's bending. I mean, it's rotating. So maybe that's exactly what you needed it to do instead of.
Well, right now it's working.
Just don't shift your weight. That's what I was trying to tell you last night about mine.
The other thing I could do is I could go home and I could cut each one down the same length.
Yep. Or you could stockpile aluminum like I do. and recreate. It's got to be the same diameter. That's all you really need. The inner and outer, because you got those little thingies.
I mean, I don't mind making it a little bit shorter all the way around. That might actually be my strategy.
Save yourself $30.
Yeah, I'm a cheap motherfucker.
No, I am too, man.
I love making stuff last though too, right?
Yeah.
Like you should look at my airbox on the DR.
Yeah.
All the screws that hold the cover on, they all stripped out. You know how they kind of have like a floating screw that's housed in plastic on airboxes?
Yeah.
It's all left up. So what I did is I took copper wire, I'd cut it up in little itty bitty pieces, I'd mix it into epoxy, shove it into where that spot was where all the screws would go. And now I use wood screws to hold my cover on.
Hey man, if it works, that's the thing. It's like,
I was like, if anybody ever buys this bike from me, they're gonna be like, "What piece of shit did I buy?"
So if you see any bikes that have been ridden any length of time, they all have repairs done, right?
Yeah.
Dual sport, dirt bikes, dual sports. If you've been in the woods, you've been crashing, you've been doing stupid shit.
Right.
Do you want to spend $300 on a piece of plastic that you broke, or do you want to just glue it back together and keep going?
Right.
You know, that's the thing. It's like, well, okay, you're gonna break that $300 piece of plastic again. So what's the purpose? You glue the damn thing, especially if it has some kind of purpose other than making your bike pretty. Let's talk about your mountain house. Is it ready to eat?
It says give it 10 minutes, sit for a while. So we'll take an inspection of the mountain house.
So is that your standard fare mountain house?
I don't know. No, there's peak too. That's okay. And this is looking pretty watery, man. Maybe I put in too much water.
Seems like they always tell you to put in too much water. You could always pour some of it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it.
If you like that sauce,
I'm gonna let it sit a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I what about dehydrated food? Some of this shit's amazing.
Like give me a name.
Okay, I had Peak, the company's Peak.
Right.
The other day, I had some tandoori chicken or something crazy that was amazingly good. I was like, wow, I feel like I'm at a restaurant right now.
Okay.
But these things are like $15 a pop.
That's my issue. My biggest issue is that, okay, it comes in a Ziploc bag. It lets you cook your meal, and it's lightweight. All you got to do is find some water or somewhere. So the idea is great.
Right.
You don't mess up any dishes. You boil water, you throw it in the bag. The idea is great, but the practice, the product to me, especially Mountain House is the worst shit I've ever eaten. Yes. And there are no exceptions. And I know there's some other competitors out there. I've heard good things about Peak and another one. The $15 bugs the shit out of me. But if you say it feels like eating in a restaurant, dude, if I can have restaurant quality food at my camp just by boiling water, I'll sign up for that.
Yeah, no, some of that Peak stuff is good, and
well, it's definitely a niche that's open for competition because these guys suck my balls. I mean, they're awful. And it's all, well, your biscuits are gravy. That's breakfast, so that was probably only what, $8, $10?
I think it says it was 12.
Yeah. Where'd you get it? Walmart?
Big Five Sporting Goods.
Oh, that's right. That's your store. Okay.
Big Five.
Yeah, we don't have those back east.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very outspoken about bags of salty sadness. That's what I call them. I even made a nice logo. Mountain House, salty sadness in a bag. And the alternatives are, just bring a freaking empty Ziploc bag and throw some $1.50 Knorr bag of Knorr rice or something like that.
Yeah.
Throw that in a bag, let it sit, get some, can of something, chicken.
Right.
$2 can of chicken, huge can of chicken for $2.
That is good camping stuff.
And then, well, I've even made a couple people make it. It's like, dude, stop eating that shit. Here, let's go grab you some stuff. Here, eat this. This is how you fix it. And it's like, wow, yeah, this is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, pour a can of chicken into anything is going to make it good, right?
You know what I did do, though, to make this a little bit better, is I did find some spices in the bag.
Oh, yeah.
So we got like some Louisiana Crystal hot sauce.
Oh, hell.
Probably some chili peppers.
Uh-oh.
So there's always a way to make Mountain House a little bit better. I know you gotta like some Crystal. It's gotta be. It's from your neck of the woods.
Well, I don't like vinegar in my hot sauce. So, I mean, as far as hot sauce goes, it's fine. But
You're right, Don. It's not completely penetrating what's supposed to be a biscuit. There's a crunchiness to it that shouldn't be there. Oh well.
Mountain House is laughing at you. It's like, sucker, ha, sucker, we got your money. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do? Nothing.
I'm gonna eat my crunchy biscuits.
Yeah.
Try to let them soak a little bit longer.
Are you gonna? Are you gonna sulk a little bit, or?
I'm gonna let them. I'm gonna sulk while they soak.
So you're a dedicated tent camper. You've been tent camping for
As long as I can remember,
Yeah.
since my 20s.
and nobody's ever offered.
Is
you-
there a head end and a foot end or not?
So
really?
your right hand is holding on to the head.
Okay.
So yeah, and you can flip around. It's just not as comfortable to me. So now you're laying in the center. So now what you want to do is pull your. What I would suggest is pull yourself up.
Okay.
Okay. And now put your feet over to the right and pull your head over towards me. You need to put your,
And it kind of flattens out,
it
huh?
flattens out a lot. Now push your feet over a little bit more. Okay. You may need to. So this is an XL, so it may be a little bit too big for you. But now
I don't know if it is.
roll on your side, either side, doesn't matter.
All right.
You might even want to pull yourself up. If it's not comfortable, pull yourself up.
No, it's
good?
not bad. Do you use a pillow in here or not really? Because it kind of elevates
Yeah,
on that side.
yeah. Not just that, but the nylon gets cold, so you don't want your ears on the cold.
So you do use a pillow?
Yeah, always.
Yeah, I could see this being doable, man. I've never, until hearing about you using this stuff, I'd never heard of anybody hammocking before.
Well, that's a shame, because it's the most comfortable thing that I do, and the older I was getting.
You know what's crazy is like a store like REI doesn't even promote this stuff.
They don't carry it.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And I mean and they're like serving the outdoor community.
Well, I would say that if you don't know what you're doing, the odds of you coming back and returning it are pretty great. That may be why they don't do it, because it takes a little bit of technical aptitude.
Yeah.
Even this is kind of a no-brainer. But look at the suspension. I hate the suspension. I made the suspension myself.
Okay.
But basically, what you need, the suspension on my war bonnet was basically a strap. I had a strap that was tied to the hammock. So what I did is I went whoop all the way around, and then I clipped that beaner to the end of the strap as it came around the tree. So it was like whoop, clip, and then I pulled on some adjusting D-rings. And it just pulled it tight to wherever you wanted to do. So I could set up my hammock. You saw how fast I set this one up.
It was fast.
It was really fast, number one. I don't have to have flat ground, number two.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about. So I have set up on,
That's what you call this
yeah, that's the underquilt.
underquilt.
So that's part of the technical part. So if you're camping in anything, the temperatures are going down to 70 degrees or below, you're probably going to need something like that, because you could sit on whatever you want to. You could throw shit in there. There's a sleeve in there. You could put an insert in there. But the bottom line is that works better than anything that I've tried. And it's kind of you know, bulletproof. That's why I've got those straps, because sometimes it shifts, and those straps over the top of the hammock
But
prevent
this
that.
underquilt wasn't sold to you by Hennessy.
What's that?
It wasn't sold to you by Hennessy.
Oh no, that's another. They do have. I think they've got an underquilt that goes with their hammocks, but yeah, it's kind of technical. So you buy that tent, you get the tent poles, you get the tarp, you get it's all in one kit, and it's kind of, you could set it up without a whole. If you set up a tent before, you can probably figure that one out, right?
Right.
So easy. The downside is you got to find a flat, level place, or you got to pick up sticks and rocks. You got to prep your site. I don't have to do any of that, and I don't have to get down on the ground.
It's probably packed smaller too.
It's usually about the same.
About the same.
Yeah. If you're bringing that and a tarp, it's usually about the same.
Huh.
Maybe a little bit more, bulk wise, but it's usually lighter. So yeah, you're not saving a lot on weight or bulk, but you're saving getting down on your knees. It's comfortable. It's very versatile. The downside of having a hammock is you got to have two trees,
Right.
and they got to be about this far apart.
Yeah.
I say 12 to 16 feet, and you don't have those trees everywhere. Matt is awesome. I wished everybody that I wanted to hang out with didn't have to work. That was our last conversation, is breaking free of the 5-day work week and getting more vacation and maybe doing something different, living life different. You know, it's those bills. I'm all about having a purpose and working and all that stuff, but having the flexibility to live your life. And he's still a young man, so, well, younger than me, which means he's a young man. All right, I'm gonna square everything away, and then I'm gonna hop on the bike and I'm gonna roll up to the volcano. Very excited.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
Let me dig my little card out,
All right.
because I bet you want to see it.
I would like to see it.
At one of the parks, he's like, "You got one of those cards?" I was like, "Yeah, go on." I was struggling on the speed bump, and he's like, "Yeah, go on, old man, before you fall down."
Do you want a map?
I would like a map, yes.
You take this thing off the road, like,
Oh yeah,
yep. It looks pretty durable.
it'll go pretty much anywhere I'm stupid enough to take it,
All right.
which makes it fun.
Yeah.
See, man. Come on, dude. Yes. It's all coming back to me now. The flood of memories from 2016, 2017. I think it was raining then. It was overcast like this, and I think there was some snow on the ground down here. But it quickly began like some flurries, and I got up here to this plaque with a big boulder field.
And sadly, once again, the road to the summit was closed, so twice in a row, my visit has been spoiled by what they say was snow, but yeah, it's probably just they didn't want to maintain, they didn't have enough staff, whatever. I don't care. They should close the park if all they're going to have is a couple of hiking trails. I wanted to go to the summit, and it's very disappointing. So I turned around, and I didn't even film much because I got a big bug splatter on the camera. But I mean, it's just disappointing footage of woods. So another disappointing visit to Lassen, sadly. It is Monday morning, 9:30, and I am packing up, rolling out of Lassen National Forest. Went up to Matt left yesterday morning, and shortly after I went up to the national park for another chance, another attempt to get up on the peak. I probably told this story by now 4 or 5 times on this video. But I came back here in 2017, I think. Tried to get up there, got snowed out. And then I was like, man, I've always wanted to go back to that. So this whole journey, and there's not a lot of snow on the mountain. I can tell you that for a fact. So it makes me wonder why they've closed it. I've heard a lot of reports of some of the park employees going, no, we're not going to do that. No, we're just not going to open up. No, we're just not going to. So I'm happened in Yosemite. I think it may be happening up the hill here. It's like, nah, we hate Donald Trump, so we're not gonna open up the park, and we're gonna punish the citizens of the United States because we don't like politics. I hope that's not the case. I think I'm headed north to Crater Lake, and if I have the same experience there, I may just be done with national parks. I don't know, because I hate driving around expecting something and getting something completely different. And it's a long way to ride to be disappointed. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope the rest of my national park visits are wonderful. But we'll see. Yeah, so there wasn't anything spectacular about Lassen, the national forest. It's very volcanic. It's got some hills, and probably if I would have been a little bit more adventurous, we could have rolled around and found something with a view. But yeah, usually when I'm going into a national forest, I kind of know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a view, or a creek, or shade, or a bunch of trees, a grove of trees, or some kind of natural wonder, or the situation just like this, which is we didn't know what we were running into. Matt thought camping inside the national park would be a good idea. I didn't know his campground was inside the park, or I would have said no, this is a bad idea. For a number of reasons, but mostly because a lot of parks have reservations now, which is what the case was here. And not just that, I'm sure he didn't want to pay $30 just to get into the park. Well, at least I asked him. Yeah, he would have been really disappointed with that park yesterday. I mean, I was, and I didn't pay a damn thing. But that's also the reason we're going back to the park. We're going north. And that's kind of south, or at least it's that way is west. Ish. And my disappointment with the closures of the great roads of Lassen was combined with the increasing heat. And most of this part of my journey out of California was 102 degrees. I'm really hoping the Mormons are going to hook me up with some freaking cold water. Now, if you are from back east like I am, water works well. A nice cold water bath works great, but it's nothing like it is out west. Out west, a little cold water is like stepping into a freezer after you've doused yourself with water. So it's a completely different experience, and I would highly recommend that you enjoy it. Woo! Latter-day Saints for the win. And of course, right after my Mormon baptism, I started climbing into the mountains of Oregon, and the landscape changed and the heat changed. So it went from basically 102 the whole time I'm riding in Northern California to 96 in Oregon. I think I only ascended about 1,500 feet, but it was enough to make a big difference. And I loved riding through this little valley, mostly treeless valley, and surrounded by these slip faults over on the right. Beautiful landscapes, hard to beat the atmosphere, and the sun was going down, and I really was thrilled to be riding through this part of Oregon. And of course, on top of all these wonderful geologic features, very unusual, back on the other side, there's a huge alkali lake. It's called Lake Abair. It's one of the saltiest lakes in North America, and it's home to lots of migratory birds. I find it really unusual. It's like, well, they're not feeding on fish. What are they feeding on? The birds feed on alkali flies, just like the natives did on the other side of the Sierras, Lake Mono. But yeah, alkali flies and brine shrimp is what they feed on, and there's quite a lot of birds in this, what you would think is a big salty lake. But the birds find these meals delicious, and I can see why they would be attracted to this side of the desert of Oregon. And as I crossed over the mountains, I started thinking, man, I'm in big trouble. I don't see trees for miles, which means I'm probably going to be sleeping on the ground tonight. But as I crossed one of the last hills, I was thinking in my mind, wow, a rest stop with a pavilion would have big, long, tree-like structures that I could hang my hammock under. And since there were some clouds forming in the distance, I thought, wow, that would be perfect. I wouldn't even have to put my tarp up if I just had a rest stop. And one of the best places for a rest stop is in the middle of nowhere, or in this case, in the middle of the Oregon desert. And I was quite surprised to see what was coming up at the bottom of this little valley here. I was actually dreaming of a rest stop that was much simpler than this, that just had a couple of poles that I could tie my hammock to. This has trees, and I'm very excited. Non-potable water, which means it's probably okay to drink. It's just not purified. It's not safe. But I bet you can boil it for coffee. That would be just fine. We'll see about that in the morning. So my perfect overnight camp spot is a little bit disappointing. I've seen 2 vehicles since I've been here in the last hour. And this guy pulled up 10 minutes after I did. I know he's a trucker. He's got as much right to be here as I do. But he's going to run his damn engine all night. So that means I'm going to have to listen to podcasts and music with my earbuds in all night, at least till I go to bed. It's not that loud. It's really not bad at all. It's not like being in a truck stop. That shit's loud. But yeah, unknown if I'm going to get any rain. It looks like mostly Virga. I don't know if y'all remember, did a couple of videos in Virga. The air is so dry down below the clouds. It's very cold and wet up there. It starts raining or snowing or whatever. The rain drops and it's so dry and warm down below, it just evaporates or sublimates. before it can reach the ground. It's called Virga. It's pretty cool. I love seeing Virga. Because normally when you see downpours like you see in the distance, it's usually going to hit the ground somewhere. But out west, it's so dry and hot below the clouds that you see a lot of Virga. And I've seen quite a bit on the way today. It always makes me smile. It always makes me go, Virga! Because I'm a nerd. But yeah, perfect freaking camp spot. 2 vehicles in an hour, and that's one of them. Right after I got here. Oh, here's another one. Number 3. Yeah, so odds are, even with a truck running all night, it's going to be pretty quiet, I think. And it's white noise. I get nothing to complain about. Just so close to perfection. So close, and yet so far. Let me go drink some beer. I cooled off some beer over there, and I've got some nuts, and I got a can of chicken, and that's all I got to eat. Probably just eat the nuts and drink some beer. I had hot beer in my dry bag, in my portable dry bag, and I was like, damn, there's cool spring water coming out of the ground over there. That'll cool my beers. It always has. At least it's not going to be warm beer. It'll be cooler beer. It's kind of crazy, all the cloud cover and the rainbow and the Virga, and there's lightning strikes that are going through those clouds like horizontally, and it's very impressive. But if the thunder is any sign that that is from the lightning, those clouds are many miles away. It doesn't look like it. It looks like maybe they're 5 miles away, but by the thunder it's like 20 plus. So anyway, really spooky clouds, but I'm kind of glad I don't have to put a tarp on tonight. Sun's still bouncing on the horizon over there. It's been a pretty awesome day despite how freaking hot and miserable it was. Lots of great riding and scenery. No. Going forward. While the hurricane's coming. Annie M! Whoa! I got that, I think. Yeah, this is some crazy weather, man. Hope he is backing up. Well, that was quite an interesting evening. This cool rig over here pulls in last night, and I'm sitting there watching them. It's looks man and a woman and a dog. They get out, start walking around. They're over here letting their dog piss, and I watch them for a little bit, thinking, man, I hope that dog doesn't go over there and piss on my boots and my pants and all my other gear that's on that table. So I was watching them pretty closely, but they were staying way over there. It was like 10 something. I was tired, man. I was just like, usually I'll play with my phone a little bit to go to sleep. Had my earbuds. I was ready to listen to some podcasts. I was like, man, I'm too tired to do anything. Took my glasses off, put my phone in the little bag above my head, put my head on the pillow, and dink, dink, dink. I'm like, shit, it's fucking raining. Good thing I had my tarp rolled up underneath my hammock. So I popped up pretty quick without a leg. One leg in it. I clipped one end over here and started pulling, walking up here, and I was like, I can't get there with one leg. I had my leg in the right side, and it was easy to clip, but then I turned this way and I couldn't keep my right leg in the hammock, so I had to put my leg on, my iron leg on real quick, which took a minute. In the meantime, I'm like pop, 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 big drops of rain plopping. I would not really call it a hard rain, I would call it a hard sprinkle. Anyway, got my hammock up, and of course I didn't have any stakes. And about this time, the guy rolls up from the rig over there and says, man, if you need a dry place to go, I got a that camper on the back of that thing is huge. He says, just go on the back side, on the passenger side, just crawl up in there. I said, really? He said, we'll be here till the morning. I was like, cool. Thank you. And anyway, I continued. I didn't have any stakes, so I just pulled the thing over my head to keep everything in my hammock from getting wet. So the sleeping bag was still rolled up. It was still hot. So sleeping bag was still in its compression sack. I just threw everything in there to try to keep it from getting dry. Threw my sweater in there. I was still wearing a t-shirt. It was hot. Anyway, so I threw everything in there to keep it from getting wet, and just kind of holding the tarp over everything until the wind, because the wind kicked up. That was the kicker, because my plan was, if it starts raining, just do like every other time, clip, pull everything over everything, and everything's fine, except if you got a 20-knot wind, and then everything's, Anyway, very interesting evening. Everything turned out okay. Back of my shirt got a little bit wet, but no big deal. Cooking up some coffee now, and gonna hit the road soon after, but I guess I'll probably have this whole place to myself here shortly. This guy said, when he was over there offering help, he also said, me and my buddy did the Trans-America Trail a couple years ago on dual sports. It's like, very cool. So did I. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. I had to clean up my mess too. Got a beer can over there. Sitting here drinking my coffee. I'm finishing my coffee. Oh hell, went to poop and everybody's gone. I can't when I come back. It's like, damn, I got the whole place to myself. Just as it hits 85 degrees. That was an interesting group of guys on their way to Yellowstone. Several of them came over and talked to me and wanted to know the story and where I was going and how long I was out and all that stuff. So interesting guys. Bunch of guys from the Bay Area, and see, they're not roughing it like me. They're staying at hotels, and like, yeah, at least you're not trailering. It could be much worse. One of the guys said, "Yeah, we're all posers." I was like, "Nah, you guys are riding. It's fine. You get old enough, sleeping on the ground or even hammock gets past you, especially if you got enough money. I mean, these guys are probably all engineers from Silicon Valley, and they got plenty of money. Why should they suffer? The most suffering these guys probably want to do is ride in 90+ degree heat. But yeah, that's what I was telling them. I used to be all judgy about people that trailered their bikes to Sturgis and other places, but now it's like, I get it, man. You get old enough, why suffer? Just go blip your throttle around the streets of Sturgis and maybe go for a ride around the Black Hills. I'm almost packed up. I think I'm gonna take a quick whore bath since I've got plenty of water here, and then roll out. Maybe I'll catch the guys from Yellowstone. That might be the single longest time it's taken me to break camp and pack up. Well, I did get a whore bath a little bit, and I talked to the bikers, the Yellowstone guys, but I am soaking freaking wet. I just took a cold rinse bath and also dunked my freaking jacket, so I should be good for at least 30 minutes. Let's roll. Let's put it in first gear. Oh, let's roll.
I was thinking there for a little bit that this is the loneliest highway, not Highway 50. But this morning has changed my mind. It's very busy this morning. Trying to wash my balls and my ass naked on a picnic bench. And 3 people roll in. 3 different, well, three vehicles. I think it was probably double as close to 6. Anyway, check out the hills.
Well, make sure you join me next time as I roll up into John Day, Oregon and the wilderness, and more storms and rain and all kinds of fun stuff. You'll enjoy it, so stick around. Make sure you've subscribed if you have not, and if you like this video, hit the like button, and you know all the rest of the stuff you do. Share it with your friends. Come on now, help a brother out.